Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today, on this Bahulastami Day, the appearance of Radhakund, we are reading about the slaying of Arista, the bull demon. And I'll start reading a few verses from 10th Canto, chapter 36. Just a second. Shri Badarayane Vacha Ahatyagatu Gustam Aristu Risabasuraha Mahim Mahakakutkaya Kambayan Kuradiksatam. Sukadeva Swami said, the demon Arista then came to the village. Appearing in the form of a bull with a large hump, he made the earth tremble as he tore it apart with his hooves. According to the Vishnu Purana, it is said that once, midway through the period of dusk, when Lord Janardhan was eager to perform the rasa dance, Aristasura madly entered the cowherd village, terrifying everyone. Rambamanaha Kataram Padacha Vilipan Mahim Ujanya Vicham Vatrani Visana Griha Chodaran Kinchit Kinch Chakrin Muchan Mitrayan Stubdochana. Aristasura bellowed very harshly and pawed the ground. With his tail raised and his eyes glaring, he began to tear up the embankments with the tips of his horns, every now and then passing a little stool and urine. Yasyanira ditinanga nisturena davamdinam patantyakalato garba sravanti smavayena nivisanti gana yasya kakudya chala samikaya tam tiksna sinu riksha gopya kupas chatatrusaha. My dear king, clouds hovered about sharp-horned Aristasura's hump, mistaking it for a mountain. And when the coward men and ladies caught sight of the demon, they were struck with terror. Indeed, the strident reverberation of his roar so frightened the pregnant cows and women that they lost their fetuses in miscarriages. Pasabo Dudivudita Rajan Sanchan Jaya Gokulam Krishna Krishnetite Sarve Govindam Saranam Yayo. The domestic animals left the pasture in fear, O king, and all the inhabitants rushed to Lord Govinda for shelter, crying, Krishna, Krishna. Bhagavana Pita Priksha Gokulam Vayadrutam Mavaisiti Giryas Vasya Drisasuram Upavayat. When the Supreme Lord saw the cowherd community distraught and fleeing in fear, he calmed them down, saying, don't be afraid. Then he called out to the bull demon as follows, Gopalai Pasravi Manda Trasitai Kim Sattama Maya Shastari Dustanam Tadvidanam Viritmanam. You fool, what do you think you are doing, you wicked rascal? Frightening the cowherd community and their animals? Well, I'm here just to punish corrupt miscreants like you. Ityaspu aspu yet chuto ristam Tadasatvena kopayan shakuram sebuja bokam prasadyavastito hari. Having spoken these words, the infallible Lord Hari slapped his arms with his palms, further angering Arista with a loud sound. The Lord then casually threw his mighty serpentine arm over the shoulder of a friend and stood facing deep. So Gyevam Kopiturista Kurinavani Mundikan Ujat Pucha Brahmanega Kruda Krishnam Upadravat. Thus provoked, Arista pawed the ground with one of his hoofs and then, with the clouds hovering around his upraised tail, furiously charged Krishna. Agranyasta Visamagra Staptasya Lochanam Chutam Kataksi Pradavatturnam Indramukha Shanidhyata. Pointing the tips of his horns straight ahead and glaring menacingly at Lord Krishna from the corners of his bloodshot eyes, Arista rushed toward him at full speed like a thunderbolt hurled by wind. Grihitva Sringayo Stamba Astada Sapadani Saha Prajya Bova Havagavan Gaja Ki Gajandita. The Supreme Lord Krishna seized Aristasura by the horns and threw him back 18 steps, just as an elephant might do with a rival elephant. Sapavido Bhagavata Ulamutaya Sakpuram Apatatsvina Sarvango Niswasam Krodamuchita. Thus repulsed by the word, the bull demon got up, and breathing hard and sweating all over his body, then charged him in a mindless rage. Tamakantam Sanikriya Sringayo Padasamakam Yanipatyabuttare Vispidayam Asayatardram Ambaram Ridva Visanena Jagana Subhada. As Arista attacked, Lord Krishna seized him by the horns and knocked him to the ground with his foot. The Lord then trashed him as if he were a wet cloth, and finally he yanked out one of the demon's horns and struck him with it until he lay prostrate. Asrit vanam mutasakrit samutsirjam sipam nischapadam anavaske tipsanaha jagamam kricham nirite rakakshayam puspai kirmita harim vire suraha. Vomiting blood and profusely excreting stool and urine, kicking his legs and rolling his eyes about, Aristasura thus went painfully to the abode of death. The demigods honored Lord Krishna by scattering flowers upon him. Evam kukutminam hatva stuyamana vijativi vivesa gostam sabalo gopinam nayanat. Having thus killed the bull demon Arista, he who was a festival for the gopis' piles entered the cowherd village with Balaram. Aristanyate daiche krisena bhutakarmana kamsayata taha bhagavan narado devadarshanaha. After Aristasura had been killed by Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Narada Muni went to speak to King Kansa. That powerful sage of godly vision addressed the king as follows. So now there is a very big purport in this, after all these verses, telling us the basic story of how Arista was killed. And in this purport, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has also included a conversation which is between Krishna and the gopis, and there we find the direct description of the appearance of Radhakund. So I'm going to read that in a moment. But first I'll speak a little bit after so many verses. Cannot do another 15 verses, can we? So this demon was very powerful. He took the form of an enormous bull. All these demons in Krishna's pastimes, they, by their mystic powers, were able to take these forms of bulls and horses and so many others. Right. So Aristasura took this very huge form of a bull. The hump on his back was so high that it appeared to be a mountain. And the clouds, they mistook it for a mountain. So they start hovering around it like that. We see that Aristasura was very proud of his power. And he was very convinced that he would be able to kill the Supreme Lord. And he was very angry. We can see that the way that Krishna dealt with him by first, as he storms at him, he grabs him by the horn and throws him back, just to sort of stun him in his pride about his great power. And now suddenly he's just thrown back. Then he comes again, and this time Krishna even yanks a horn out of his head, because these horns, they were the main weapons and a big source of pride. It's with these horns that I will kill you. And Mr. Sura was thinking. And it's with these horns that Krishna killed Mr. Sura. Just because its consciousness is in the horns. So we can see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very, very personal. And in killing the demons, just as the personal touch. That is, the Sura was into his horns. All right, I'll give you a horn. In this way, we can appreciate how much Krishna is a person and makes personal arrangements for every living being, for their purification, for bestowing mercy upon them. And he rewards them according to their level of surrender. And in this case, as the demon was not so surrendered, he rewarded him accordingly by hitting him on the head with his own horn. So that was exciting. Yes, well, what occurred after is also quite clear. And from the Puranas, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has quoted 20 verses describing the joking conversation between Radha and Krishna that took place after Krishna has killed the demon Aristasura. This conversation, so kindly quoted by the Acharya, describes the origin of Radha Kund and Shama, Radha's and Krishna's baby. The verses are as follows. Now, this time, although I love the Sanskrit, I'm going to skip it for the sake of time. Srila Prabhupada, of course, we know on early Janmashtami, spent the whole night just reading Sanskrit verses, because there was no translation of the relevant verses from 10th canto. Just by hearing these verses, you'll be purified. So I feel a little bit awkward not reading them, but you can't do everything in limited time. The innocent young gopi says, "Ah, Krishna, don't touch us now, O killer of a fool. Alas, even though Arista was a terrible demon, still he was a male cow, so you will have to undergo atonement, just as Lord Indra did after killing Vritasura. But how can you purify yourself without going to the trouble of visiting every single holy place in the three worlds?" They wanted every single holy place. Very big offense. Krishna replied, why should I have to wander throughout the entire universe? I will bring at once all the countless pilgrimage places here to take my bath in them. Just watch. With this, Lord Mukunda struck his heel on the ground. Then he said, this is the water of the Bhagavati river, coming from the Patala region. And now, holy places, all of you, please come here. When the Supreme Lord had spoken these words, all the holy places went there and appeared before him. Krishna then addressed the gopis as follows. See all the holy places, but the gopis replied, we don't see them as you describe. Then those best of holy places joined their palms in supplication, spoke up. I am the salt ocean. I am the ocean of milk. I'm the Amara Dirkika. I am the river Sona. I am the Sindhu. I am the Tamraparni. I am the holy place of Pushkar. I am the river Saraswati. And we are the Godavari, Yamuna, and Reva rivers and the confluence of rivers at Prayag. Just see our waters. After purifying himself by bathing, Lord Hari became quite arrogant and said, I've produced a pond containing all the various holy places, whereas you gopis must have never executed any religious duties on earth of Lord Brahma. Then Srimati Radharani addressed her royal friends as follows. I must create an even more beautiful pond. So go to work. Having heard these words, the gopis saw that Aristasura's wolves had dug a shallow ditch just west of Sri Krishna's pond. At that nearby spot, all the gopis began digging up lumps of soft mud with their hands, and in this way a divine pond manifested in the short span of an hour. Krishna was astonished to see the lake they produced. So we can see how effortlessly Krishna was creating Shamakund, which is also known as Aristakund, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes. And there, Krishna immediately invited all the holy places of the universe and took his baths, and it was done. Very quick and easily, because he has this Satya Sankalpa Shakti that whatever he desires becomes true. If he just wants it to be true, it's immediately done. So that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes he shows effort, but that is really his pastime, because there is no effort. And Krishna lifted Govardhan hill with the left finger with the little finger of his left hand, just to show that he used the weakest finger. But at the same time, he could have also done it without using any finger at all, if he so desired. But he desired to act out his human pastime. So Krishna sometimes acts as a human being, and therefore Krishna sometimes is showing weakness, is showing struggle, is showing a great struggle in a fight with a demon, where the demigods are getting worried and are thinking, oh, this demon is going to win, please kill him soon, these kind of, but these are all Krishna's arrangements to increase the attachment of his devotees. So Krishna plays with the hearts of his devotees and tries to endlessly make arrangements to increase their love.